Hi, this is Ice Calderon of the ICFG Stakeholder Interviews Live. And today we are going to talk to architect Ramon Abiera. But before that, let me introduce him. Architect Ramon Abiera is the director and at the same time committee chair on urban development, green building, and sustainability of the Infrastructure and Construction Focus Group Philippines, or the ICFG. He just concluded his term as the executive director of the Construction Industry Authority of the Philippines, or CIAP, an attached agency of the Philippines Department of Trade and Industry, or DTI, which accelerates, promotes, and regulates the construction industry. Architect Ramon Abiera is affiliated with the Philippine Institute of Environmental Planners, the Philippine Green Building Initiative, and the Eastern Asian Regional Organization of Public Housing. He is also committee chair on resilience, intellectual property, inventions, and innovations of the United Architects of the Philippines, or UAP, for which in the past he also served as the national executive vice president. With more than 34 years professional experience in the field of construction, architecture, green technology, design, and sustainable development, Mr. Abiera is not only a certified architect, but also an environmental planner and EDGE, or Excellence in Design for Greater Efficiencies, a member of the World Bank Group, design expert, and accredited auditor. He is also currently a trustee of Zero Waste Philippines. He joined ICFG as a director in 2020 to contribute with his expertise to the growth of the construction industry community. Ladies and gentlemen, let us all welcome Architect Ramon Abiera.
Thank you very
Hello,
much.
Architect Ramon.
Hi, good morning, and thank you very much for your kind introduction.
And we are very honored to have you today, Architect Ramon. So of course we will be interviewing you, but before that, I'd like to know how you are, and let's have a little chat before we start with the interview.
I'm doing just fine. We should all be thankful for still being here. You know, so many people died in COVID, and it is upon us to be grateful for being given another day.
Right, I totally agree with you on that, Architect. Of course, I will now be starting the interview questions. We will be starting with, because this is very interesting, with more than 30 years of experience, I'm pretty sure that people are also very curious about this first question. Why did you decide to study architecture?
Well, that's a really interesting question because all my life as a kid, I always wanted to become a lawyer. My family doctor calls me attorney all the time. Every time I get a visit from him when I'm sick. But as fate have it, I studied in the University of the Philippines high school, and so for graduates of UST, we can select any kind of college we want to go in the university. So I did not select architecture in the first instance. I was studying psychology so that I may be able to become either a lawyer or a doctor as my brother. But fate have it, and I found a friend who invited me over to the architecture building, and I fell in love with it the moment I stepped in. So God intervened in having found my profession.
Wow, that's very nice to hear. Also, I totally believe in interventions, and also there's like a certain calling that we ought to do for our for the rest of our lives, right? And architecture has been your calling ever since. Um,
Yes.
our next question is all about being the executive director of CIAP. So you have been the executive director of CIAP, and I'm pretty sure everyone is also curious about the most exciting part of your role. What is it? Can you tell us about it?
Well, for one thing, this is the first time, that was the first time for me to be in government. And so if ever there is anything, it was the fact that I had been given the experience, the chance to experience, to be able to be in government. Because I never desired or never thought of being in government ever since. Having said that, I've learned many things in it, and I understand how government is trying to help in promoting the construction industry, uh, and helping it survive and become globally competitive. Uh, One of the best parts I've learned from it is having to meet many people. I've met a lot of people from DTI itself, from the government itself, having attended several, say, NEDA meetings or other meetings. I also had the pleasure to have been in international conferences, and also uh, uh, meeting people is one of the most, I think, interesting thing in government, because it gives the way you think, makes it a little wider, uh, because of the nature and the amount of information that you're able to get from so many people.
Right, I agree. Diversity and of course information coming from different people. That's very interesting. The moment we talk to other people, we also get to know how they think and what are their thoughts and the concepts that we can actually, explore more on, especially that it can also help us in developing our policies and procedures. You're also very active with UAP and you are chairing two very special committees. Would you like to tell us more about it?
Well, actually, I'm really very active in UAP because that is like my second family, being an architect, and I'm very happy to be with colleagues who practice and have the same mindset. First and foremost, I have two committees that I chair. One of them is called UAP AGAP, or AGAP means in Tagalog is alisto or something, but it's actually intended to say resiliency in construction, in design, and it addresses addressing gaps to build resiliency. I think that's the very reason for that, and it's a good one because I'm able to, in my own small way, find opportunities that needs to be addressed, which are not taken by the other committees. The other one is something also new to me. It's the Committee on Sustainability. Uh, the other one is the Committee on Innovations, Intellectual Property Innovations, and Inventions. This one is also quite interesting. As you know, DTI uh, uh, also has a agency which is IPOFIL, that is in charge for intellectual properties in the Philippines, and I myself I'm very interested about it because uh, especially now in the pandemic, one of the things that we all have is time. There's less work, and there's less things to do, and there's a lot of time for us to focus on our deep, as architects, to focus on our deep innovative skills, and uh, that's why some of the things that we do can actually be, uh, how do you call this, copyrighted, and get some property rights on it. So I'm trying to help architects if they can whatever they think there's something special that they have been doing, then they can try and apply for a patent. I myself have applied for a patent from an invention of mine also.
All right,
Thank
that's very interesting. Uh, Also, you recently decided to join the ICFG and lend your knowledge to this initiative. How do you see this interest group helping the construction industry?
First and foremost, as I mentioned, during my stint as executive director of CIAP, that is when I met ICFG through Lawrence. Lawrence had been a very people who were forming the ICFG then, and I had been participating in their events as part of CIAP. And lo and behold, during this time of the pandemic, he called me and asked me if there is something I can contribute to ICFG, and I said yes. Uh, uh, the construction industry needs a lot of help from everybody because primarily the biggest thing that needs to change is actually mindset. That is
Right.
the most interesting thing that needs to change is the mindset of the clients, mindset of the owners, mindsets of the architects, the designers, the engineers, the mindset of the construction contractors and suppliers and developers of materials. Everybody needs to have a change of mindset so that we can all go forward in the right direction.
I totally agree with the mindset. I mean, mindset is everything. If we set our
Yes,
minds to it, we
yes.
will be able to achieve the things that we want to achieve, and that's also not only for our personal gains, but also for the entire community. Mindset is really everything. Also, architect,
It's true. I will just like to add something.
for sure.
Although it is free, unfortunately, it cannot be given to you by your parents. You cannot receive that as a gift from your friends. The
I
only way to be
agree.
able to have a change of mindset is to embrace it. So we need to
That's true.
embrace a change of mindset.
Absolutely. I totally agree with that. Everyone is, I mean, mindset is totally free, but we really have to be the one to initiate it within ourselves so that we will be able to achieve it.
You know,
And that's true. We cannot inherit it from our parents.
they say if you can have a formula to change the mindset of people, you will be a billionaire instantly.
Oh, then I'll do my best to find out more about it. Okay.
Yeah.
We've heard that you have a special skill set and you're also an inventor. Um, can you tell us what you have invented?
Uh, okay, I will first answer the first few parts of that question. First of all, I have a skill set in Edge. Edge is excellence in design for greater efficiency. It's actually green buildings, uh, practically the green mindset and strategies. And
Right. Mhm.
I'm a practitioner of Edge. Edge is an IFC World Bank group of companies and I believe in their strategy and in their program. And this is one unique thing because it helps to helps architects, for example, to be able to have a more quantifiable green, uh, and also that it is practically achievable, unlike the other greens, which are very difficult to achieve. These ones are very practical. In fact, this is the reason why IFC uh, instituted Edge as their green program. It's actually a green certification system, and the certification itself is being handled by PGBI in the Philippines. Okay, I come now to the invention. Well,
Yes.
actually, through this pandemic, I try to focus a bit on my inventive skill, and uh, kind of applied for a uh, patent with my modular pontoon. It's a DRRM modular pontoon. Actually, DRRM is the disaster risk reduction management, and it's a modular pontoon which aims to provide extra type of conveyance during floods, particularly in areas that have really high flood. If you notice on the TV, uh, many of the watercraft that are being utilized by our rescuers are relatively small. Some of them are bankas, rubberized boats, and often they don't have enough space for the people that they rescue. The reason is
Right.
puno na siya ng mga mag-rescue, so wala nang lugar yung i-rescue. And so because of that, I actually came up with the idea.
Mm. Yes, and because we're also a tropical country which receives several um, typhoons every single year, so that's definitely very timely and very relevant and very significant if that will be implemented across the Philippines.
Actually, we
You are. Mhm.
Actually, we have 22, about an average of about 22 typhoons per year. And because of these because of the, how do you call this change in climate change,
Mhm.
uh, the strongest and more ravaging typhoons are becoming more and more, and their impact is becoming greater and greater. So this is one way of being able to help alleviate uh, and support rescue missions in the Philippines.
I see. Okay, that's very, again, that's very significant. So I hopefully every municipality and city will have that, especially now that the typhoon season is already fast approaching because summer has already ended. Because you are all about innovation and inventions, do you have any words for the architects out there who also have their inventions?
Yes, how do you call this? In the States, for example, when I was in America for about 7 or 8 years, I noticed that when I visit these Home Depots and I look at all the things that they have a lot of small tools that help improve either speed or quality
Mhm.
uh, of workmanship. Now, these tools are, I call them assistive technologies, meaning they assist. And the good part about it is with these small tools, a person of a rather smaller, lower level of skill set can actually produce the same quality with the same speed with least maintenance, least wastage as a highly skilled worker. And so this is something interesting that if architects and engineers and even workers who have tried to create small tools to help them achieve the same effect, to achieve an easier work, uh, then they can have this either patented or they can make a prototype that then ask for patents. Methods can also be patented. So if they have
Mm.
the method that they use, I remember a friend of mine in construction, and it was said like this: if you bid in a project and you have no technology a special technology that you're going to apply, chances are you probably lose to a company that has their own technology. So it's a matter of looking for these technologies, standardizing them, and putting them in, applying for a patent, maybe, or a copyright, so that they can use this when they do their bids. So they'll also be protected. Now is the time, because we
Right.
have a lot of time now to focus on our inventive skills, and harness whatever God gave us to contribute to other people's welfare. Something worth thinking about for those who are in the who have inventive and creative minds.
Right. Especially that we have, as you've mentioned, we have more time than usual because most are working from home. So it's really so much about innovation, efficiency, and also sustainability. So for those of the audience who are really into these things, they definitely should get in touch with you and the rest of the ICFG. Okay. Also, do you have any parting words for our audience?
Yes, now that is there is COVID, uh, we have to do things differently. All do things differently. So we have to adapt, and perhaps we have to invent certain things
Mm-hmm.
for us to be able to adapt. This is a good opportunity for us to rediscover our skills, rediscover how we look at things, and improve our mindset regarding sustainability, resiliency, innovations, and inventions. And I think this time we are able to harness this because of the time that we are allotted now, and everybody's almost alone. You're working in your own house, so gives you enough time to do some research and document. The other thing that I would like to say is to be able to document their work, their designs, to be able to document things that they make, and so that they can have something to apply for either patent or copyright.
Yes, and that's thank you so much. It's been really a pleasure hearing from you, Architect Ramon Abiera, one of our esteemed architects in the Philippines. And again, Architect Ramon, thank you so much for sharing your insights and for sharing your expertise and experience with us. We hope to see you again soon, and we really look forward to having you again for another stakeholder interview.
Thank you very much, also ICE, and thank you ICFG for the opportunity.
Thank you so much.